Hi, this is Up Your Game, and it comes to you on the platform of Office Politics Champions. My name is Olatunji Shobodu. It's still the subject of office politics or political intelligence. And need I say that you must be politically savvy if you want to win at work, if you want to realize your career aspirations and goals. And it's even more so in this day and age than perhaps before. Today, I want to call your attention to something. Maybe you have identified it, maybe you are not happy with it. Do you know that there are corrupt stakeholders in your organization, including staff, colleagues like yourself, who are celebrated winners in the organization? Did I hear you say yes? Or are you saying, what do I mean? Corrupt? Why would corrupt stakeholders be celebrated winners or celebrated as winners? Well, because they are the ones that often win. And you acknowledge that they are winners in the game of office politics. Or they are winners at work. They tend to get what they want. They tend to get ahead of people like you, ahead of the pack. And you're unhappy about that because you believe that you are adding more value than they are adding, yet you are being overlooked and they are getting what uh, they want. Yes, they are corrupt stakeholders. Why do we call them corrupt stakeholders, and how do you identify them? Well, they are corrupt stakeholders in the sense that they will do anything, all right, to influence the system, to promote them, all right, to grant them access to benefits that others may find difficult to get. They are corrupt because their choice of strategies are appalling. And maybe that's why you don't like them, all right? But they still win in the game. And the reason will surprise you. The reason actually is you. You are the reason that such people win in the game. You are the reason that corrupt stakeholders still win. And people celebrate them as winners. They're celebrated winners because they always win. They always seem to know what to do to get ahead, to get access to the very benefits that you are working so hard trying to meet your targets to get. And you must give it to them. You must give it to them because, quite frankly, you could say that their win is worth it, or they earned their win. Let me point out the reason why they earned their win, and you should give it to them. All right, that yes, they are quite smart. You may not like the choice of their approach or the nature of their approach, but they are smart all the same. They are smart all the same. Now, for one, they are focused on pleasing those who matter within the organization. They understand well enough that there are people that matter in the organization. And if you must get ahead, all right, there are people who must feel comfortable with you, who must see you as someone who adds value, who must know you because you are visible to them. And these guys, corrupt as they understand this and they focus on pleasing their bosses, pleasing the powers that be. And that has to be a smart thing to do. But you are not doing that because maybe they're psychopaths, maybe they gossip, maybe they are playing high service. Well, they're at least playing something. What are you playing? And is what you are playing as effective as the cards they are playing? So that's number one. They focus on pleasing their bosses, impressing their bosses, impressing the powers that be. Number two, they project leverage. All right. They project and leverage their reputation, the reputation factor. You might call it that. Reputation factor. Um, and that's because, they try to create some form of reputation for themselves. Now, people who play high service, you may not like it, all right? But they tend to have this reputation that they are always available. They tend to have this reputation, albeit false, that they are typically humble because they're willing to do anything. The things you would count an insult, they would take it in their stride and they would be smiling and laughing at it. And it can be misinterpreted precisely by the powers that be. And so it can still work things in their favor. That's number two. Number three is that they are they are actively working towards winning. You see, these people, you don't like them. They are corrupt. Their approaches are not great. Don't copy them, I would advise. However, there are certain elements of what they do, all right, that you must take away from. Now, they are actively working to progress, to advance, to be ahead of the pack, to be remembered. They are actively working. If you are pursuing something and you are focused on it and you take responsibility, your efforts are being put in. Even if you are doing the wrong thing, chances are that you will still be better off than someone who is not doing anything, than someone who doesn't believe, that they should work that much to achieve what they want, than someone who is naive enough to think that it's only by achieving their targets that they can get ahead of the pack. That's the third reason that stands there in good stead. Number four, all right? There are weak and bad leaders in the organization. And guess what? Psychopaths, those who play eye service, gossipers, they end up influencing bad leaders. They stand no chance with true leaders because true leaders can figure them out. But they can be very strong with bad leadership. And bad leaders embrace them. Bad leaders, the kind who like to be, celebrated, who like to be praised, who like to feel good, all right? The ones who are deceived by these fellows. And if such bad leaders are in positions of authority, if such bad leaders are the ones calling the shots in the organization, can you see why these guys will win and keep winning? All right? So, bad leaders enhance the potency of their corrupt strategy. Bad leaders. Let me tell you number five. Number five, I said you, because you guys quit. You leave the game for them because you don't like them. You don't like how they operate. You decide that you're not going to get in the ring with them. You can't do what they do. And all of that. And what happens when you leave the ring and there's only one player present? The player who is in the ring will be declared the winner. You who left the ring, all right, whatever your reason, will be disqualified. That's what happens to many people. They get discouraged by their own view of what office politics is. They want a system that is, in their own view, meritorious. They don't understand the political dynamics. They don't come to terms with that. And invariably, they leave the turf for those who are corrupt, the so-called corrupt stakeholders which includes some of your colleagues. Let me just mention two. I mean, these are issues that I could speak a lot about, but I just wanted to share this with you. All right. The other thing is that they recognize office politics as a game. They know it's a game. They recognize it and they treat it as such. They play it. I've earlier said, that they play actively to win because they recognize it as a game. And still, some of you who are not corrupt, or so at least you claim, you don't even see it as a game. You don't see it as a game. You don't understand that there are many stakeholders who are looking for what you are looking for, possibly more, and that not everybody will win. All right, but everybody will get a verdict at the end of the day. But what you do will be a function of you recognizing the nature of the game, how it is played, the rules of the game, the unwritten rules of the game. All right, and the strategies that other stakeholders are engaging in their play. All right. And finally, these guys, corrupt, they have a strong desire to get ahead of the pack and win. They have a strong desire to get ahead of the pack and win. Do you have the same desire? Is it as strong? Or is your approach trial and error? They have a strong desire to win. They know what they want. They're working hard at it. They're craving for it. And that's why most times they get it. Not because their strategies are good, but because in very many ways they have proven to be better than you. Because you have taken things lightly, and they haven't taken things lightly at all. At all. They are shrewd, unlike you, who typically takes things for granted, who is quick to accept the status quo, and who doesn't even like the game anyway, and particularly how these so-called corrupt stakeholders play. That's how it happens in the organization. And I want to challenge you as well, even at the national level. You see, the reason why those so-called corrupt politicians will always be there and will always win. They win because of what you and I do, because of our attitude to them and to what is clearly a game. And until we change that, the politicians will remain celebrated winners, all right, for long to come. We can cry foul, but we must act if we want to see a change. The same applies to you if you want to experience change, all right, in your career, trajectory, sorry. You must make a change. If you fail to make the change, I'm afraid you'll keep falling short of what you desire. All right? But perhaps what you are not really doing much to attain. That's my call today. Up your game. I'm back. Sorry, I was away for a bit. But maybe one more episode before we shut down for the year. But it's never late to fire yourself up in this game, because next year is another year. In case you have not achieved your goals for this year, in case your aspirations have not materialized, well, never mind. You probably need to redouble your efforts and settle down, all right? Because this game called office politics is going nowhere. It has come to stay. The earlier you recognize it, you learn, you build capacity to play and win, the better for you, for your career. All right, enjoy a wonderful week. And I'll still be in touch on the WhatsApp platform as well as the NASA.io platform, where the community resides. See you again. God bless you. Bye-bye.